All right, everyone. Welcome to the second weekend edition of the Stats Edge Trading newsletter. Now that everything is free and open to everyone, thank you for all the signups. The email list is growing nicely. If you would like to get this emailed, the copy of all the charts that I put, emailed directly to you. Again, link is in the description below, along with the tools that I use to find these setups and chart them. Link description there as well. And apologize for my voice. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can because it's been in and out depending on the time. So without further ado, let's just kind of pop right into this here. And as always, give a start with Bitcoin. We're going to focus on the weekly charts in this weekend edition. I think that makes the most sense. So when I'm going through this on the weekend, I like to look at weekly charts just to get a kind of a zoomed out picture of everything. So I think that's something that I'll start to do is once a week, we'll just focus on those. And then the other ones will focus on the daily charts for the market indices and everything anyway. So this anchored view app from all-time high on Bitcoin came right up to it, kind of struggled at it, pulled off. Now this is the 200-week moving average. Seems like we're finding some support there, kind of getting sandwiched in. So I'm still kind of gravitating to potentially the downside, but if we can break and hold above that anchored view app from all-time high, then I think that's something that we have to take a look at. Maybe the winds have changed for Bitcoin there. Looking at gold on the weekly chart, actually did a pretty good job of coming into this trend line, finding support there, and bouncing off it a little bit. Also, the anchored view app from this high right here, and that's in the context of this overall kind of cup and handle. So if we can hold here for another couple weeks, start to push higher, I think that's an interesting one. And then USD CAD, right? Just wanted to point out that this kind of bull flag type pattern has been going on forever. I have to assume that it's going to resolve to the upside because we are in a bit of an uptrend before this occurred. So I'm kind of looking for the top end of this trend line to break so we can take a little bit of short on CAD there. So going into the overall market, let's go over to trade ideas for that. So here, start with a SPY. We finally broke out of, switch over to the weekly here, finally broke out of this 420 area that had been kind of a battle zone for so long. Just kind of right in through here. So we broke that. We made a weekly closing high. That's now the highest weekly closing high since August of last year. Even further. So now we're talking, wow. So yeah, so a 52-week high on the S&P 500. Nothing bearish about that, right? Berk B still seems to be an interesting one for me, where we have this pretty clearly defined level here on Berk B, where we have this zone right here, this prior resistance acting as support. Nice push off that on as well. So interesting look there on Berk. Again, I use that as kind of my proxy for looking at, more safer, I guess, type names. And then KRE, actually took a trade in KRE on Friday because I was looking at these lows right here. We broke down below them. I wanted to see at least a daily close, but ideally a weekly close above that area, and that's where we got. So I'm in some right here. My stop will probably just go right under this candle low right here. Just if over the next couple weeks or couple months we even get back into the 50 or so, it's a pretty good get with a kind of lower volatility type of broad range ETF like that. ACVA. So we'll go into the individual names here if I spell them correctly. ACVA. There we go. And then we want to get over to the daily chart on this. There we go. So you'll notice that more and more of these are looking for a gap and then coming to the anchor view app from that gap. And that's a scan that we have in Trade Ideas. We are also having a test drive that I'll be attached to the email and also the link in the description below. So you can try Trade Ideas and this anchored view app scanner for $11 for an entire week, or 2 weeks, sorry. And I'm loving this particular scan and this particular setup. The more I trade it, the more this is something that's like really, really interesting to me, because those who follow me for any length of time know that one of my setups was always looking for a positive gap after earnings and then some type of sideways consolidation and then a move off of that. But this particular setup, and anyone who's followed even the last couple of weeks of trading, has produced some amazing, amazing risk reward trades, because instead of waiting for them to break the high of the range, I'm able to get a little bit of a better entry on the same kind of setup. So ACVA, for example, the day right before earnings is where the VWAP gets anchored. And then you can see, it's starting to find some support at or around that area. So for this one, I'm looking to take it over this level. I think a perfect example that was on the watch list that I talked about yesterday was Live Nation. And Live Nation came right down pretty much to the tick right here. So as we bounced off that, I was like, okay, if we can get going the next day, I'm gonna take a trade on this one. Pulls back a little bit and then just starts to go. And then ARLO was one that I'm still in and have been in for a long time now. And this one was an anchored VWAP play from a while ago that is doing the same thing. It looks like today, or on Friday. So if we go back to the anchored VWAP prior here, and we anchor it before this earnings day. This was an earnings day. Came right down into that area, and as it started to push off, I bought some. Got a nice little trade out of that. Held on to just a little tiny bit because I was up so much on it. And then, but if you do the same thing with this earnings, it's doing the same thing where the anchored VWAP came right back down to it, and then it's starting to use that as support. So this is very, very quickly becoming kind of my favorite setup there. So another one from there is CRNX. And right, for that, same kind of thing. We had earnings, big push up after earnings, comes back, looking to find support at this anchored VWAP. So if we can get a push off that, that's where I'll take it. The beauty of it is that the rules with these are really simple. If it loses that anchored VWAP, I'm just on to the next thing. So HELE, I'm watching it at $100 a share, trying to see if it can get through that. This one's got a 30% short float, which is one of the main reasons that this one's on the list. IDCC. This is another one, from the same kind of anchored VWAP idea, where you can see big push up here, pull down, right? So we've got this lower trend line, draw that a little better. This upper trend line right here. So if we can break through that after holding the anchored VWAP from this earnings report or whatever this news event is right here, then that would be a good trade there as well. OTEX is another one, right? Same, really repetitive with most of these, but that's when you're onto a good setup, when there's just tons and tons and tons that look really good for you to look at and choose from. This one's more of just a flat top break. It's held as support right there twice. So if we can get over that flat top, that's where I'm interested in this one. Then we have Riot Blockchain. I'm keeping this one on watch. If I'm wrong on Bitcoin and the move is higher, then I think there will be some good plays to take on, Raya, Mara, these type of things are usually pretty good as well. So this one is just a nice big push up, and then it's a sideways consolidation. So I'm just looking for this to kind of clear one way or the other. We have TAST. We have TAST, same kind of thing, right? So you anchor it right here, and you have this prior high that we're having right here. So as long as it can break through that, this is a restaurant group, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, but could move. TTWO for Take-Two, which this is a video game company. Again, same play. We have a anchored VWAP from here. But 140 seems to be a level. So if we can get over 140, that's where I'm going to take the trade on that. And then last but not least, I'm just looking at Wingstop still. This one's been on the list for a while, just battling around this $200 area. So there's not really a big reason for this one way or the other. I'm just battling around this $200 area. So I need to see a push off of that. You can see every time, the more we're getting into the 190s, the more we're getting these bottoming tails. So if we can get a push from there, that's what's interesting to me. So thankfully, looks like my voice held up through this roughly. Appreciate you guys all for coming out. Come over to statsedgetrading.com, sign up for the email list there, check out the trading tools that I have. And then there's also a fully free trading course on there if that's something that you're interested in. So thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys soon.